July 16, 2023. GP7A, Deepmind, Google Operator, Durango Dank News, GP7A. Now, when you understand how algorithms, Deepmind algorithms, the author, what's their authority behind making such statements or theories or just ideas. And in Deepmind, what I try to do is write about the most current, most important content that leads to industries and subcategories and blah, 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 blah. And when you understand what Universal Music Group is all about and how much money they're making in over 60 countries. So their global brand is working, and what we're trying to do is let people understand what local branding means. And local branding don't mean just going out and getting some PR companies to start writing. It all has to do with who is building your digital footprint, your metaverse, who's the person behind all your content. And you have to have team members. Google encourages team members. Now, this doesn't go for Yahoo or Twitter. This is just Google, Google, Google. And if you don't like Google, go somewhere else. It's that simple. But for people to come in and start accusing Google and YouTube of all these things, you know, I'm not happy of all the changes, but they know things that we don't know. And what I do know is that Universal Music Group is one of the hottest tickets in town right now. I am not a financial advisor. You might want to check with them, but I can tell you just based off this conversation and what the content that's in it and what this is right here, that's a metaverse ball. That's what I deemed a metaverse ball, and it's just forming. And so what Universal Music Group and their team needs to figure out, how do they get these holes right here, all these little spots right there, how do they fill them in with better content? And see, the content we write is the most foul, most organic, from nice to stinky to whatever. But it's part of a conversation, part of a conversation flow that we've been recording and indexing and observing for the last, since 96 and officially 2006, and then officially in 2011. So we have authority. So the media and all them that have been part of the charades to confuse people in regards to whatever it is they're trying to confuse people with, I don't judge. I don't need to. I mind my own business. In the metaverse, I don't care what color you are. I don't care who you're in. I don't care nothing. I don't care if you're a mom. I don't care if you're a dad. My main objective in the HR department is to get you a job. Unequivocally, that job must come first over everything you do. Most people can't make that commitment. I could never make that a commitment, so I had to go create my own stuff so that people can create their own stuff, so that you can still honor your religion, you can still honor your politics, but you keep that to yourself, just like who you're in. But to hear people use different words to try to, I don't know, but that's their right. It's their right. But see, in artificial intelligence world, that people think they're going to go past laws. That's why it's called artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has been around since they first invented the computer. Artificial intelligence has been around from the first time we invented a microphone. Artificial intelligence has been around since the first time that we've designed the video camera or other apparatuses that take images or audios of different circumstances, events, and happenings around our own personal worlds, which we now call metaverse. And it's these metaverses that we use our content that we have a strict, absolute authority over and should be registered, therefore, as such. But there's certain people, an artist cannot do this because they don't allow artists to represent themselves. And no matter how good you think you are, you're still not good enough. There is a way things need to be done according to just business practices. Why you need managers, why you need all of this stuff in order to operate in the mortal world, just let alone. But in the digital world, it's different. In the digital world, it comes with high authority and high powers depending on the assets that you have and that you keep current within the terms and conditions of Google. I don't use DuckDuckGo. I don't use Yahoo, though I do have a Yahoo account. I don't use it. I opened it just to see, like various other accounts throughout my years, what people are doing, hearing conversations, and pattern matching content with content. And if I had a computer that I didn't have to worry about getting in trouble, like if a government said, hey, why don't you show us this stuff? Yeah, okay, boss. But I don't see that happening because we are so divided as a nation that our adversaries are watching how we treat our politicians and how the same people. And one thing I can tell you right now, the power of women, this is their generation. This is their decade. And what I mean by that is that they need women like Taylor Swift, believe it or not. Okay. My favorite song of hers is Shake It Off. That song, if I'm ever down in the dump, I just put that song on and I'm happy. And even when I can't get happy, I pretend to be happy. And next thing I know, I'm dancing around, acting a fool. So, and she is the billion-dollar woman right now at 30 years old. She hasn't even reached the Martha Stewart level yet, and she's making that kind of money. And when you talk about Martha Stewart level, I'm talking about all the experiences and meta tags that Martha Stewart has to keep what she's going. And the fact that she hangs out with Snoop Dogg, I couldn't even imagine what a conversation between those two would be. A true fly on the wall conversation between those two superstars. Unbelievable. I saw Snoop Dogg. I was there. I covered his store opening for the Super Bowl, and he was getting into his car, and just his whole being was very lion-like, man. So when he says I'm Snoop Lion, seeing people like, he is, man. You won't know until you're there and you are in his presence. And even then, if you don't know how to see that kind of stuff, you won't know how to see that kind of stuff. That's just the way that is. But this kind of stuff here, this Deepmind, is badass, folks. And when you look at how Colorado politics for Denver Writes News, that's our entry point. And right now, Colorado and Denver is very, very hot because they've been indexed as an illegitimate government. They don't know that. They laugh it off. Ha, ha, ha. They're going to start Vibrant Denver, do at Vibrant Denver. Doesn't matter what they do, what they say. I mean, they even got a website, Vibrant Denver. They're doing hiring from that. It's like, wait a second, that belongs in the city of Denver. And you're supposed to use citizens, companies to help grow the city with these new departments. But it's all the same people. You'll see it won't be anybody that voted for them because they already know the digital cat, that pussy has been exposed. And no matter what they try to do to snatch it up, it's already been indexed. And so when people say, is it hard to get a job at Deepmind? I would have to probably say, yeah. I would probably have to say, if you don't know how to create the content that these people need in order to justify their systems, that's the whole thing. They're like race car drivers. They built everything. They built the whole spaceship. They built the whole apparatus so an end user and multiple end users can join Google Teams to control their data over a network that only uses Google. And so those who don't like Google and those that, they got DuckDuckGo. That's why Google is not a monopoly. They monopolize other people. I mean, they're getting ready to sell the domains to Squarespace. I don't want Squarespace as my domain provider. If I would have wanted Squarespace, I would have signed up for it. So Google's selling it. And see, the only reason why I did it with Google is because I thought Google would stand behind one of the most important processes of the whole entire domain registration process. And knowing that nothing's going to change, we already know things change with Google. Changes fast. And so you got to even I have to be one step ahead of Google's changes so that it protects more of my people than Google's people. And that's the sad thing. But I believe that artificial intelligence is making it so that people understand that no matter what you try to do to manipulate artificial intelligence, hello, McFly, that's why it's called artificial intelligence. And now we can index everybody's voices, pattern match it to all the things we need to do in the back end. Even when you don't think that the content in our emails aren't being used, they're probably not being used by Google or anybody. Yeah, that's probably a matter of fact, because they wouldn't say it, because they too have to follow their own mission statement of do the right thing. So so they have rogue people like all people have that's trying to destroy Google and their competitors and this competitor and my competitor is Google. That's the hardest thing I've been trying to beat all my whole time. And when I say beat, it means beat. I get beat up. And that's okay because it makes us stronger. It makes us earn that top space right here. So that if I had to speak to a bunch of investors about, and I'm not a financial advisor, you got to talk to your financial advisors, and I can't take the information I know, or I'd be really rich because I called all the Super Bowls since 2020 in the back end. But if once I try to bank on that, and I know because if I use digital currency or if I collect money digitally, that artificial intelligence will know, and then AI will just go, you know, gee, you're just like fucking everybody else. So as you scroll down to this Deepmind and all these different questions, how much they get paid? See, I don't get paid. See, organic, you don't get paid. You get paid by closing deals of platforms that you've built for free. So the return on investments, when they start doing their newswire, there's some meat. There's still some sizzle left. So we write long form. We've been writing long form for a long time, and long form means that we control every word in that whole entire. So when you write small and you control like just GP7A, you ain't gonna get that far. There's nothing to. But when you know how to do the initials and there's things I am not doing that I could, but I don't want to cheat. This is easy enough to get people going and using Google and understanding the Deepmind departments that create these magnificent software, hardware, and apparatuses. Even software is an apparatus, hardware is an apparatus. What you're hooking up to as your internet provider is an apparatus. And anyone that thinks that you're going to fool your internet provider and have some secret thing so that your identity is going to be withheld, believe me, you come up on a red flag instantly. And just because you haven't been caught yet, you haven't done nothing serious enough, or they're going to let you keep going so they learn the whole criminal network. That's the best thing about the United States. They know everything about everybody. I guarantee it. One day I'd like to sit down with them and tell them the little game I've been playing with them for a while, but it's not a game as a game. It's a game of code that allows people to look in the inside of anybody's conversations. And so when you think about the most precious FBI and our precious Congress, and they can't even garnish 50% approval rating, these ratings mean something, folks, in the big world, the digital world. It means something. In the mortal world, they're going to continue doing what they've been doing in Denver and every other city for as long as they've been a city. That can't change. Artificial intelligence can't change that. And that's what people don't understand. What they're trying to do is change artificial intelligence so they control that. And they can't even do that. It's too late. They've got the wrong people talking about the wrong things and not having any type of meta tag experience in building. It's all talking. So when these people now talk, okay, because this is what virtual machines do, this is what they are able to do by having people in Deepmind, Google, develop these systems, these softwares, and whatever other magical, whimsical platform they come up with and change for the betterment of Google. It's not necessarily the betterment of the end users, but when you look at it, when it's best for the house, it's best for the people. And when you just think about the house is like if you're in Vegas, those are the houses. And all those people that get jobs and get money and all that, no matter what they think the house makes, the house didn't make enough. Because without the house, nobody would make any money. That's why when I ran my houses, non-gambling, like nightclubs and stuff, we shared. We took care of people. So slow days, hard days, and I guess that's what the unions do now. But what we're trying to do is tell everybody that Deepmind's real and that we all control our own metaverse, okay? And as soon as you give it to somebody else, they now control it, and you're in the back seat. And then when they do their press releases, and then all these different agencies that sign up to it, that ignore it or what, you get picked up by 3 or 4 little news agencies, and they write a little story about it. Now they're there where your name should be because you didn't know how to write any kind of organic content about who you are and what you do, so that when people do take notice, they see when they Google you that there's content there that they can write about, they can feel about. But when there's nothing there, they got to crapshoot it, and then therefore they'll take over the listings in your pages. So that's how that works. And we're advocates that everybody that has a website in regards to their, like if you Google search Deepmind, then it should come up on the first page just like all the other businesses they represent in Google Business, and they use YouTube. And see, for me, I don't want to have to put TikTok videos on my YouTube channel. I just don't. I don't want to do that, and I'm not going to do it. I don't care. I don't want to see TikTok videos in YouTube searches. Now, video searches, then it's terrible. But if it's on Google, I'm sorry, YouTube overrides it. It just has to be that way. That's our shit. They could go other places. There's an array of other things you can go to, but I believe that Google is kind of being under attack and undermined by certain providers that are turning down the juice. But that's being investigated now, so we'll have to see what happens with that. And what I mean by turning down the juice, looking at the bars on your phone and paying attention to what your internet server. We just canceled Xfinity, kicked them out of our lives. Now we're working on our phones. Okay, so as soon as we get the phones, I'm going back to, we got out of Verizon because something happened, but Verizon's got some new secret antennas going up, and I found one. So I know now that I will have bars on my phone because there's people in Denver that do not want those antennas crowding up their mountain views. God, 6-foot fence with a 5'11" dude is gonna block his view of the mountains if he's standing right next to it. So it's just a thing to keep an eye out, making sure that we all do the right thing. And, I don't believe in having to mix apps because when you do that, they all compete against each other. And the next thing you know, and things aren't getting saved. When you think you're saving it, or your apps come popping up when you wanted another app, and that's what they do. It's the battle of the apps. It's the battle of the metaverse. And if you're smart enough and you're intelligent enough, And most important, you don't have to be a simpleton, because that's what it takes to run your metaverse. It ain't that complicated. You wake up, build your website, and you leave your trail of where you've gone in the metaverse that allows you to talk about different things that you do. Like if you go to a restaurant all the time and you're now a restaurant connoisseur, you can do that. Google lets you do it. You can be whatever you want to be. If you want to call yourself the latest fad of anything, you can do it. Just knock yourself out. But you got to do it. You can't talk about it, because when you talk about it, then what will happen is everything that you're talking about, you're going to end up getting the people that are actually doing about. That's how it works, right? So when you talk about a movie or you talk about something, the next thing you know, it's on your phone, it's telling you about the movie or a concert. That's what the work I do. I take what's called object-oriented programming with embedded voice prints. And then what we do is we can take some highly Deepmind, highly advanced algorithms and put them together. And it's weird because I only learned this by AI. It's kind of weird. But like for me, I don't want to know. I wouldn't mind meeting Marcus, the Marcus guys, all the dudes named Marcus, and to do what I do. I'm a Marcus by proxy. Everything I am is by proxy, folks. Remember that. I'm just a simulation. I get it. But these people are real. And these people, I don't want to know how they do what they do. It's none of my fucking business. That's how they're going to be able to control the content and development that we do with voice-activated, generated, migrated content to the voice that's speaking. But they'll be able to hone in on different issues that will protect everybody in the metaverse. And what they don't need to worry about is that AI will do it for them. They just got to keep doing what they're doing and follow it. Because AI, on what they do, is slowly, especially if they start looking at other people's work, on the front end conversation, the throw before the toss. So when you think about the throw before the toss, we are that content. We are that development. When we throw that ball, when we throw that content, when Google puts it out there, it's all been verified. It's ready for the final curtain, and that's a sale. So remember, on Google, we got to keep everything doing the right thing, being able to be you, drop F-bombs. I mean, I ran for office, and the Generation Z, they cuss so much that I have to wash my mouth out with soap when I get home, believe it or not.